Good morning, class. Welcome to this lecture. So today we are going to study the practical number 5. That is, the aim of the practical is to study the extended entity relationship. The title is to study the extended entity relationship. And what is the aim of the practical? To study the type of entity, to study the type of relationship, to study the type of attribute. That means we will be studying what are the different types of entities, what are their relationships, what are the attributes, and what do you mean by cardinality and recursive relationship. Now, first of all, we'll understand what do you mean by entity. So we already know anything you can term it as an entity. Anything which has a physical existence, that you can call as an entity. Entity could be anything. Suppose you take, for example, you take a student as an entity. So there are certain things associated with that student. He must be having certain name, then he must be having certain ID, certain class, certain section. So these are all called as attributes. So entity is anything which has attributes. So anything that has physical existence is called as entity, and it has certain attributes. Now, what are the objectives of this practical? To understand the type of entity and the type of relationship between the different entities, and to understand the cardinality. Cardinality means the relationship that we have seen, such as one to one, one to many, and many to many between two or more number of entities. So we'll be able to understand what do you mean by those relationship, what is cardinality, and then recursive relationship, that again we'll see. What are the outcomes? After studying this practical, the students will be able to understand and use different types of relationships such as unary, binary, ternary, etc. What do you mean by these different relations? Binary, unary, ternary, and create an entity relationship diagram and use the entity relationship model. You will be able to create an entity relationship diagram, that is ER diagram. Now, what is that ER diagram? For example, when we talk about suppose we say an example of a university, then in university, there can be various number of departments. In every department there can be so many number of teachers. Then the number of teachers they will be teaching the different kind of subjects, and there can be very many students between to which they are teaching, to whom they are teaching. So now when you form a relationship diagram showing the relationship between these terms, so that is called as ER diagram, because here you are going to consider a teacher as an entity. Now if a teacher is an entity, he is having attributes like his ID, the subject he is teaching, then he will be teaching to student a particular subject. Now the relationship between teacher and student, that will be teacher is teaching to the student, so that is the relationship between them. So this is how the entities are related. Likewise, the student is related to a course, the course is related to the university affiliated, and so many things. So that is representation of a real life situation or a real world situation to solve or to predict the exact or to truly reflect the relationship, truly reflect the actual condition, that is called as ER diagram, that is entity relationship diagram. Now, what are the different kinds of entities? Strong, weak, recursive, and competitive entities. Composite. Strong, weak, recursive, and composite entities. Strong entities means the entities which does not depend on anyone for their existence. So these are called as strong entities. That means an entity that does not have sufficient attributes to form primary key are called as weak entity, and entity that is a primary key is termed as a strong entity. Now, when you say primary key means if suppose there is one entity student, and now when we form a table, suppose we form a table student, and in this we have certain values, columns like age, address, mobile number, telephone number, and the very first column is ID. So now the ID, it will be a primary key. We will make it as a primary key, so it will be unique for every student. Name can be similar, addresses can be to some extent maybe similar, but the ID is specific and unique. So the entity which is having this kind of primary key, that is called as strong entity, and the entity which do not have the primary key, that is called as weak entity. It is very simple and to understand. The entity having primary key, that is called as strong entity, and it does not depend upon other entities to be identified, that is strong entity. And the entity that does not have a primary key, that is called as weak entity, and for existence of such entities another entity is required. So they are existence dependent entities, their existence is dependent on another entities. Suppose now name and class. So if I write the name Shubham, ID is S1, name is Shubham, class is A. So there can be 4, 5, 6 or 10 or many number of same or many number of students having the same name Shubham in the same class. So Shubham A, Shubham A, Shubham A. Now, if you say I want to trace the record of Shubham from class A, and you are not knowing the ID, then you will not be able to trace that. So such kind of entities, they are weak entities. So now an entity wherein only you are having name and class, so they will be weak entities. And you need a primary key, that is you need a strong entity and a primary key to retrieve that data or to select the data from that particular record. So such entities are weak entities. Now recursive entity. An entity is one which in which a relation can exist in the occurrence of the same entity set. This occurs in a unary relationship. That is, one entity, it is having relationship with itself. So I'll show you later. It is here. Now composite entities. If many-to-many relationship exists, we must create a bridge entity to convert it into one-to-many. Bridge entity composed of primary keys of each of the entities to be connected. Now the bridge entity is known as composite entity. So if there are relationship, now to bridge the relationship, we create entity which composed of primary keys. So that is known as, I'll show you also, that is known as composite entities. Now here are the representation of those entities. We have already seen them, but let us once again go through it. What are the different? Now here you can see the entity, it is shown in a rectangle, and if it is a double rectangle, it is a weak entity set. So single entity or strong entity, it is shown by rectangle. Now by double rectangle, a weak entity set is shown. R, that is a diamond, it represents the relationship set, and when it is double diamond, then it represents identifying relationship. We have already seen what do you mean by identifying relationship. Then by oval, we represent a primary key. The oval represents a primary key with a straight line. That means the symbol oval, it is used to represent the attributes. But if in that oval something is written and it is being underlined, then it represents the primary key. Now diamond R, that represents with the arrow, open arrows on both the side without the arrowhead. They are many-to-many relationship. They represents many-to-many relationship. Now it is having open closed arrows, that is the arrows on both the side with the arrow sign. It is representing one-to-one relationship. So then an oval, it represents an attribute. Then two ovals, that is double elliptical shape, that represents multivariate attribute. Then a dotted oval, it represents derived attribute. Then here you can see there is one entity E and two lines are shown. So what does E represents? Total participation of entity set in relationship. This is participating totally. We have already seen what do you mean by partial participation. So we have gone through these things. Discriminating attribute of entity set. When the attribute is shown by dotted lines in a particular attribute symbol, then it is representing the discriminated attribute or the attribute of a weak entity set. And now the diamond with value R written in it and having arrow on one side and line on other side without arrow, that is representing many-to-one relationship. Then cardinality limits, IH, that is the maximum number of cardinality, left hand side cardinality. Then IS is specialization or generalization. So these are the different diagrams that we have already seen. We have seen them in the theory part. Now what are the different kinds of relationship? Unary, binary and ternary. So here you can see there is one entity student, okay, and it is linked with the same entity where student is linked with student. An entity type linked with itself, also called recursive relationship. Example, roommate, where student is linked with student. One student, it is linked with another student, that is same entity, it is linked with itself. So that is called as one-to-one relationship, or it is called as unary relationship. Now when you have two things, one entity is student and one entity is class, then it is called as a binary relationship. It is called as a binary relationship. That means a binary relationship is one that links two entities. Here example, a student and a class. A student and a class, they are linked by a binary relationship. Relationships can be formally described in ordered pair from enrollment S1, art 103, then S2, CS2 and so many things. It is a relationship set and each ordered pair is instance of that relationship. That means the relationship between two entities, it is shown. The entities could be anything. So here the two entities are student and class. So in this there can be a class must be the second. Suppose S1, it is an attribute of a student, then 03A, that is again an ordered pair. So this is a student, this is another student, this is another student. Those students can be having a pair, but they are all related to the class. So the relationship between them, that is known as binary relationship. The relationship between the three entities. Here there are three entities: vendor, part, quality, and warehouse. Now vendor to warehouse, there is a relationship between them. And what is the relationship between that? The vendor ships the shipment to the warehouse. But now you want to know the quantity, how much. So you can create quantity as another entity, and which part he has shifted. So that one also, so you can create another entity, that is part. Now this particular vendor is shipping a part in a particular quantity to a warehouse. That means this entity is having relationship with part, warehouse, and quantity. So such kind of relationship will be called as a ternary relationship. That is called as ternary relationship. So we have seen unary relationship, binary relationship, and ternary relationship. Now types of attributes. So we already know there can be very many number of attributes. Attributes means the characteristics of a particular entity. It can be simple and composite, single valued and multi-valued, stored and derived, and complex attribute. Now very simple it is. And what are different attributes? Suppose address can be subdivided into street, city, state, zip code. A simple attribute cannot be subdivided. It is very easy. A simple attribute cannot be subdivided. Attribute that consists of a single atomic value. Suppose for example salary. If there is a particular person, a worker, he is having certain salary. Now that attribute salary, it can be divided further. When we talk about address attribute, so okay, address is an attribute of a particular person. If we say one worker X, he is having salary this much, he is having a specific address. Now you cannot divide its salary but into further, but its address can be divided into street number, zip number, area, line, lane, etc, etc. So that is a divisible attribute. So the attribute that is not divisible further, it is known as a simple attribute. Now composite attribute, again the same example, address can be composed of more number of things, such as your name. For example, the name, your first name, middle name, and last name. Your name comprises of your first name, middle name, and last name. So it is comprising of more than one value. So that is called as composite attribute. It is having more than one value. That is called as composite attribute. Then single valued and multi-valued. Now single valued, for example, you have date of birth. So every person will have only one date of birth. Aadhaar card. Every person will have only one Aadhaar card number. Driving license number. Every person will have only one driving license number. So that is single valued. But multi-valued, when we talk about mobile numbers. So one person may have more than one number of mobile numbers. They can have 2, 3, 4, 5 mobile with them. So they can have 4 different numbers. In today's world, we generally have 2 numbers. One is mobile number and another is WhatsApp number, is another mobile number. So that attribute is a multi-valued attribute. So single value attribute means the attribute is having a single value. For example, your date of birth, it is just one value. It cannot be more than one number of date of birth. Then when we talk about mobile number, one person can have more than one number of mobile numbers. So that is multi-valued attribute. Then stored attribute. Now when you in certain forms, when you fill the exam forms or when you fill so many other forms, you are being asked the date of birth. So when you mention your date of birth, your age is being calculated based on that date of birth. So how it is calculated? When you mention date of birth, now today's date and from the date of birth you have mentioned, from these two, the difference between these two, they calculate your age. Suppose you mention your date of birth year as 1990. So 1990 to 2021, it is almost 31 years. So your age now by is 31 years. And when you mention the month and day, it is being specifically calculated for those values. So that is called as derived thing. You have just mentioned your date of birth, but from a specific value, the value which is already stored there. And what value is stored? It is stored, the value stored is today's date. So as per today's date, your age is this much thing. So that is called as stored attribute. So an attribute that supplies a value to the related attribute. Now the value for the derived attribute is derived. Now here you can see the date of birth, age can be derived by subtracting the date of birth from the current date. Now current date, it is stored in the system. So this current date, it is a stored attribute, and age, that is a derived attribute, and date of birth, it is a simple attribute. It is having just one value, single value attribute. So from one single value attribute and from one stored attribute, you have derived one attribute. So these are three attributes here. Date of birth is your single value attribute. You have derived age from your date of birth, so that is a derived attribute. And to derive your age, you have used specific data, and that data is today's date on that particular day or whatever may be the date. So that is the stored attribute. For example, when you say area of a circle, the area of a circle can be determined by its radius. So when you talk about the radius, when you talk about the area of the circle, it will be derived from the radius. So the value of radius is already stored. So that is called as a derived attribute. Then complex attribute, it is both multi-composite and multi-valued. Now complex means the mobile number and the combination of the mobile number, the alphabets and so many things and on. That is a complex attribute. Such as when you have password, you enter your password as a combination of so many values, and it can be single entity. But when you write more number of things, so that is called as a complex value. For example, you have one address, you have another address, and you mix those both addresses, so that could be a complex value. Any example where you see that is there is chaos, there is confusion, that is a complex attribute. Now what do you mean by cardinality? The cardinality of a relationship is the number of instances of entity that can be associated with the entity A. That means the instances between two entities, that is called as cardinality. There is a minimum cardinality and maximum cardinality for each relationship, with an unspecified maximum cardinality being shown by n. Now for example, there is one teacher and one subject. Now this one teacher, he can teach 0 subject or he can teach n number of subject, many number of subjects. So the cardinality is 0, n. Now there is one subject. So the teacher can teach many subjects. The teacher teaches subject. He can teach many subjects. So the cardinality is either he can teach 0 subject or he can teach maximum number of subjects. So 0, n, that is the cardinality. And when consider of subject, there is one subject, it is being taught by one teacher or no teacher is being allotted to it. So cardinality is 0, 1. Here you can see no teacher is allotted. So cardinality can be maximum. It can be taught by maximum number of teachers. But no teacher has been allotted yet. So here it is 0, 1. So this is what you call as cardinality. The cardinality is the number of instances of entity that can be associated with another entity. दो entity के बीच में कितने instance हो सकते हैं? जैसे एक teacher कई सारे subject भी पढ़ा सकता और एक टीचर एक सब्जेक्ट भी नहीं पढ़ा सकता, उसको कोई असाइन ही नहीं किया, तो वो कार्डिनलिटी होगी 0, n. और वही से एक सब्जेक्ट है, उसको कोई भी टीचर्स पढ़ा सकते हैं लेकिन उसको अभी तक कोई टीचर अलॉट ही नहीं हुआ वो सब्जेक्ट को, तो वो होगी 0, 1. नाउ रिकर्सिव रिलेशनशिप. रिकर्सिव रिलेशनशिप मतलब आपस में ग्रुप में रिलेशंस है. जैसे एक टीम है और एक सुपरवाइजर है, तो हमने किया कि उसी ग्रुप में एक ग्रुप है वर्कर्स का, उसमें वो वर्कर्स ग्रुप की टीम है, उसमें कुछ सुपरवाइजर्स है और कुछ वर्कर है, तो उसमें से 3 सुपरवाइजर बचे हुए वर्कर है, तो उनके बीच का जो रिलेशन है कि टीम और सुपरविजन, तो टीम और सुपरविजन के बीच में कहते हैं सुपरवाइजर जो है वो सुपरवाइज करेंगे पूरी टीम को. एक साथ ही साथ जो सुपरवाइज है वो सुपरवाइज्ड होंगे बाय दैट पर्टिकुलर सुपरवाइजर. तो मतलब उनका सुपरविजन उनके टीम का ही कोई बंदा कर रहा है, तो उसमें सुपरवाइजर भी है और सुपरविजी भी है, सुपरवाइजी भी है, मतलब जिनको सुपरवाइज कर रहा है वो भी है और जो सुपरवाइज कर रहा है वो भी, वो एक ही टीम में है और उनके बीच में रिलेशनशिप क्या है? सुपरविजन. एक सुपरवाइज कर रहा और एक सुपरवाइज हो रहा, तो रिलेशनशिप क्या हो गया? सुपरविजन. तो ये जो ऐसा रिलेशनशिप दैट इज कॉल्ड एज रिकर्सिव रिलेशनशिप. नाउ दिस इज ऑल व्हाट वी विल सी इन दिस पर्टिकुलर प्रैक्टिकल. सो वी विल कम फॉर दिस सर्टन प्री लैब एंड पोस्ट लैब क्वेश्चंस. वी हैव ऑलरेडी सीन ऑल दिस इन द थ्योरी पार्ट. ये सब हम थ्योरी पार्ट में ऑलरेडी देख चुके थे. अब हम देखते हैं कि इसमें ये जो है फिर एंटिटी वगैरह, देयर आर सर्टन क्वेश्चंस, विल गो थ्रू देम वन बाय वन. व्हाट इज एन एंटिटी? अ रियल वर्ल्ड ऑब्जेक्ट विद एन एग्जिस्टेंस, जैसे प्रोफेसर, स्टूडेंट, कोर्स, एंड इट इज हैविंग सर्टन attributes. What is ER model? A model which is found with relationship between two entities. Then what is significance? It can represent a real world situation wherein you can solve the program and it shows a complete logical structure of the database. Then what are the steps? You have to identify the entities. An entity should appear only once. Identify relationship, connect them by using specific shapes such as line, arrow, diamond, and that is called as ER diagram. Add attributes. Then what is cardinality? We have already seen, that is a vital piece of information of relationship between two entities. So this is all what we have seen in this particular practical. Now what is the conclusion? In this practical we successfully learn about extended entity relationship. We have already seen the relationship between the entities, and then different entities, what are the different entities, what are the different attributes, and relationships and recursive relationship model of database. So this is how we end our practical number 5. So all these things we have seen it here. Now the next practical is to perform aggregate function. So it is very simple. There is one table, and then aggregate function means just a function like sum. So it is adding more than one number of values. So more than one, that is aggregate. Or when you say average, or when you say count, or when you say whatever it is, wherein more than one number of values are involved and you are performing operations on that, such are called as aggregate functions. So what is the title? Write a query to perform the aggregate function to database. And what is the aim of the practical? To write query to perform aggregate function. And what are the objectives? To understand the use of functions that provides mathematical operations, to understand use of add, count, and perform basic statistics, to perform required statistical and mathematical tasks with few queries. And outcome of this practical will be use the functions for performing mathematical operations. Mathematical operation basically sum, average, then count, and to perform record operations by use of statistical operations. And in that we used a particular condition. We have already seen when you use any kind of command, we have to specify the condition, that is called as a where condition of particular class. Suppose there was one table and then you have written this query: select sum of price from a table name, that is AGG. Now in that particular AGG table there can be so many values of this price, so it will calculate all those values and it will give you the sum, that is the sum is 7241. Now max function. So you select max price, that means there is a table, there is having so many number of values, and 6550, it is the maximum value in that particular table, in that column. So he will give you that value. It will also give you the minimum value. तो जैसे हमको मैक्स वैल्यू मिला, मीन वैल्यू मिला, एवरेज वैल्यू मिलेगा, एंड so many number of things. Minimum, it is mean, price. Select minimum price from AGG. AGG is a table, aggregate function. Suppose we have created one table, aggregate function, and then we have stored certain values in that, and one of the attributes for that particular, and one of the attributes, remember, one of the attributes or one of the column in that table is price, and in that price you have written so many number of values. So you can take the maximum value out of it, such as in the very first. Here you can say the max. Select the maximum value of price from this particular table. So the maximum value, it will be displayed here, displayed. Then you have to select sum of all the values in that column price. So it will display the sum. Then you have selected minimum value. So the mean value, it will display the minimum value in that particular. So minimum value is 20. Then average. It will display the average of all the values. So that is 1440. Now you can form any tables. You can form any table. You can write take n number of columns into this. Suppose 5 number of columns into that. Then you write certain values. Then out of that particular column, it is you take some mathematical value like 1, 2, 3 numerical, and then you perform. Okay, if you want to get the average of those, so then you can have average function. Then if you want to get the minimum value in that particular column, so you are going to get the minimum value. You want to get the maximum value, and so many things. So that is what these particular functions are used for. Then count, it will count how many number of values are being stored. Suppose in that column price we have stored 5 different values, so the count will be 5. So this is very simple. Its execution is very simple. The command in itself is very simple, and these are called as the function. These are called as the basic aggregate functions. And the meaning of aggregate means that you are combining the things. आप एक से ज़्यादा रोज पर, एक से ज़्यादा रिकॉर्ड पर एट अ टाइम काम कर रहे हैं. सो हेंस इट इज कॉल्ड एज aggregate function. And what are those aggregate function? So they are count, they are average, then mean, then max, and then sum of a particular value, max value from that particular values, then selecting the minimum, selecting the maximum, selecting the minimum, selecting the average, and then finally the count, that is how many times the value in that particular column appears. Now certain pre-lab and post-lab questions for it. So what are the functions that performs mathematical operation in DBMs? The SQL aggregate functions. So the SQL aggregate functions, they are used for performing the mathematical operations. Aggregate function generates summary values in the query result sets. Summary means it is a combination. It is being generated from more than one number of values, so that you can call it as a summary. What are the aggregate functions used? They are used by a where clause in the rows in a table applied to a where subset of tables specified by a where clause or to one or more groups. So it can be used at any place. It can be applied for an entire table, or you can use the where clause. And the different functions used in tables are count, sum, max, min, and these are the basic functions. There can be so number of functions such as mod of these two and so many things. So wherein you get the value from more than one number of values. So that is called as aggregate function. Now the post lab question, what is the count function? The count function is used to retrieve the number of records in a table that meet the given criteria. Now suppose you have to count. You have to count means how many times that particular value appears, so that is count. Then sum, again it is used to take the sum of those attributes, max to get the maximum, average to get the average, and so on. So this is how we finished our sixth practical, that is the use of aggregate functions. So in this we have just seen 4 or 5 functions. We have seen sum, we have seen minimum, we have seen maximum, we have seen average, and we have seen count. So it is very easy. You can solve it in a paper also. You can just write a table and then you can write the query. The only thing we have to understand is the syntax of the query. Select the max or mean, the name of the function. Select is the command, the name of the function is mean, max, average, count, or whatever it is. So the query will be, first you write the command, that is select, then mean or max, whatever you have to do, that is the function, then the value which you want. So you have to provide that particular value. Okay, select max, and then from which table. So you will select and you will get the specific value. So this is how we complete. In this practical, we have created aggregate functions, sum, max, mean, average, and count, and performed various operations on them with their work. So what we have done, we have seen the queries for maximum, we have seen the queries for minimum, we have seen the queries for average, we have seen the queries for count, and we have seen the queries for sum. So this is what we have seen in this particular practical. So today we have seen 2 different practicals, that is 5th and 6th. In the next practical, we are going to see the join operations. So we have already seen the different kinds of join, as left join, inner join, right join, full join, and so many things. So we are going to see them in the detail in the next practical. So okay, till then, see you. Thank you class. Good day. Jai Hind.